Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are live again, and that was a great start. So excellent. What I was
Keep it
today? I
entertaining.
was just checking the date. Friday, yeah, I know, right? A bit of extra entertainment.
Just
Hasn't
showing
hurt
off your
anyone.
new
And
blazer,
today,
Nikita, from the back.
exactly. And Friday, the 11th of September, and just as we thought we're going to be out of lockdown last Sunday, in fact, last Friday when we did this live stream, we spoke in great detail about all our great plans about getting out of lockdown and having 40 plus inspections booked for the week starting, which is the week coming up soon. And clearly that's changed now. So that's not happening anytime soon. And I'll, just as we had a blooper before with Nikita, I'll do this one because I know Angela doesn't like this one.
Trying to
How
think of myself.
Tend to yourself.
the AI on this thing automatically does it. That's why it somehow just has got everyone right in the fit. But how have you both ladies been? How's the last week been since Sunday?
Oh, it's been a bit of an up and down roller coaster. I think all sorts of emotions and feelings. Like you said, we were so excited to get out there and start doing some private inspections and mingle with the public just a little bit, all within by following the rules. So that's put a bit of a dampener on it. And then other things like this hair. I wanted to get a haircut potentially. I've got it's all half tied back. And,
my wife's been doing my haircut, so we found these old Italian clippers that her dad brought they had from, I don't know how old they are, but they do a great job, and we've been watching some YouTube videos. I'm happy to share the link of the guy that I learned how to do a fade from. Probably not going to be very useful for the females, but for the
don't know
for the
if
guys that want to do a fade.
the office would like the fade look on my hair.
Hey,
Yeah, I feel you on that end.
Your hair will be the same length as now by the time we're out of the final stages of a lockdown, which might be in 2025.
A little bit healthier. Yeah, you're right. So it's these little things, little touches, your hair and your other bits and pieces, our nails, bit of shopping. But obviously we all want to make sure that we come out of this in the best way possible, and that's to be safe and healthy. So I can understand the reason why it has been extended, but I guess we just have to reshuffle our plans and push them out by a few weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
What do we think? Is Dan the man?
I wouldn't want his job.
It's a tough gig. It's definitely a tough gig right now, but that's okay. I'm sure there's some silver lining in everything that's going on, and we talk about this all the time. When you look ahead in life, sometimes the dots don't connect, but when you look back, somehow
it all makes sense.
Always all make sense, I'm sure.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
We hope and pray that that's exactly what it is, and it's just not just one full year wasted. There has been some new experiences out of this. I mean, just earlier we did a virtual appraisal with a lady, probably I want to say maybe in her 70s, and it was just interesting. We had a few technical difficulties, and it took about 20 minutes to get going. But once we did, it was actually quite good, and it was just awesome to see how well a lot of people have adapted to this. And today, obviously, we're going to talk a little bit about the virtual inspections we did last week, and how all of us are coping through this as well, and how we all, I mean, as perfect as all of this looks on screen, we all have our own struggles, and how we're keeping our mental state the way it is to be able to do what we do, and preparing for it. But I think that might be a good sort of start to talk about how especially I know the lockdown overall has been difficult, but I think the last week's probably been the extra level of difficult because there was an expectation that things will reopen mid-September, and as a worst case, they'll open late September, and we'll start easing into normality again. And but now it's we're nearly November, so when you think about it, we've got literally a 45-day window from when things open to Christmas, which is a very short time.
Yeah.
So how was that news to you, Nikita? How did you react to it last Sunday when that came? And I mean, were you struggling? How did you cope?
I mean, look, at the end of the day, I think some people forget, yes, we are real estate agents and, we put on this facade of professionality every single day. But at the end of the day, we are humans and, we do feel the same emotions as everyone else does. And it wasn't the best news. It wasn't what we wanted to hear or what I wanted to hear, especially because of the amount of inspections and, buyers that we had already lined up for coming out of lockdown. And obviously the headache of having to deal with calling every single person back and telling them, look, you're just going to have to hold off for the time being. It definitely shifted my mood for a good day or two, I'd say, mainly because, one, I was so excited to get out and, put my suit on and start, not my suit, like my blazer and dress or whatever, and get out and start meeting people and doing what I love, helping people find these homes and matching them to other properties and stuff like that. And it was a build up of excitement in a sense. And then to be disappointed like that, it wasn't the best. And not only that, but, throughout this lockdown, personally, I've been trying to work on my health. So, eating right, eating clean, exercising. And I'll tell you, those first couple of days after we heard those announcements, I definitely ordered more Uber Eats than probably Melbourne put together. But yeah, it was definitely a downer, but now I'm in a better mindset and just, using this time for more preparation for when we come out, because, we've been saying it together as a team that we're never going to get this time again to be able to go in and fix up our back end or, just get this downtime because, working in real estate, it's go, go, go all the time. So enjoy it. That's all I can say is enjoy this time while you've got it and make the most out of it to improve your skills or, improve your database or anything like that. Just bring some positivity out of it if you can.
100%. And what about you, Angela?
Yeah, like I said before, hearing the news on Sunday, I was a bit angry. I was angry because I thought, like Nikita said, there was all this build up and energy. Our energy levels were very, very different and from an excited point of view. So to hear, it's like hearing that Christmas is cancelled. Like, no, you can't do inspections. You can't go back to the office. You can't go see your friends. You can't go here. So it sort of felt like that. And again, we're humans. We've got emotions. And that was the first emotion that I felt. And after that, there was a bit of overwhelmment, thinking how many more weeks ahead, working from home, calling clients, putting things off, all these things. So there was anger and overwhelmment. And yeah, I had a day that was a complete write-off, really. I just couldn't get focused. And I didn't want to particularly push myself to get on the phone and push conversations where the right energy and the right frame of mind and attitude wasn't going to come across. I didn't want to do that to myself or my clients. So I took some time out, refocused, recalibrated really, and got back on that horse. Got back on that horse. I think we've been using that phrase.
We've been using that analogy a fair bit.
So got back on the horse and continued doing what we were doing and setting ourselves up for the next few weeks. And I guess trying to come up with I guess different ideas. Those virtual appraisals worked really well for our team, and now I hear that other Ray White officers are coming on board and doing the same because there's not much else we can do. So just putting our heads together and thinking about what else can we do now over the next few weeks to align our clients, their properties, and the buyers, so we can just open those gates and just hit the market and complete these tasks that we set out to do some weeks ago.
100%, and it's all about survival right now, isn't it? And survival is a mental state. It's very much a mental thing. And right now, with everything that's going on, exactly like what both of you said, it was Sunday after watching the news and everything that was announced. I'm sure, just like us, everyone's heart sank, and everyone just thought, just as we thought, we're returning back to potentially some normality. Everything's been extended out, and you have a little bit of anger, and you have a little bit of, I suppose, resentment, and you sort of think, why is everyone else allowed to operate as normal, and why me, and why us, and all the rest of it. And like I sort of had a few hours where I just felt a little bit mentally disturbed, but I didn't dwell on for too long. I mean, a little bit of walk and exercise and meditation and clear your mind a little bit, and just finding that perspective of how bad things could have been. And I guess maybe for me, I find it a little bit easier to get perspective because I've got family in India, and I know how hard it is for people over there at the moment and everything that's going on. And these are most people don't even know this, but there's a on the border of India and China. There's a war about to break out, and there's been cross-border firing going on for the last month. So there's just so many things happening over there that I sort of feel like maybe this is actually not too bad. Like this is fairly normal when you when you consider.
When you look at it like that, yeah, of course.
What's happening?
There's always people worked off.
And the tensions have escalated so much, like on both sides. You know, a few soldiers got killed, and the American government has deployed some troops to go over to India as well to assist in case this escalates any further and all that sort of stuff. So there's just around the world, there are so many things happening, like even everything that happened in Lebanon not so long ago. And even within Australia, you know, the border crossings and people in some really tragic situations. You look at that and you can't help but feel a little bit grateful to think, okay, well, I've got a roof over my head. I've got a nice warm bed to sleep on. And yes, I can't go to work in the traditional fashion, but we can still do a fair bit of things. And we're doing a lot of virtual inspections. I mean, I think we had a total of 70 plus people that tune in on the weekend across all our properties, which was huge. And awesome. You know, it's something we need to unpack today is obviously how do the new restrictions affect the property market, but also the mindset of the buyers we're dealing with, because something so interesting happened that I never thought would off the back of a virtual inspection. So let's talk about how our virtual inspections went on the weekend. I mean, we started off with Blackwood, and we've got a few people watching us live. So for those of us watching us live right now, guys, make sure you pop a comment. If you've got any questions, drop them in. And obviously with the theme of what everyone's been talking about at the moment, are you okay? So if you're not okay, and if there's, you know, something we could talk about or you like us to talk about, pop it in the comment section below. But going back to Saturday, that just passed, and obviously this was all just before the restrictions were announced. We had a total of 7. Is that right? 7 total inspections.
On one property, yes.
But overall, we opened 7 different properties.
Virtually?
On Saturday. Yep, virtually. And the first one was Blackwood. How did that one go, Nikita?
That went so well. We're very lucky to have vendors at the moment that are happy to adapt to, you know, our suggestions and take them on board. And it's revolutionary to see how well these virtual inspections are working. And not only that, how open buyers are to, you know, looking at properties virtually rather than just inspecting, because I think they know that we're on the same boat. There's not much that we can do, and they are appreciating the fact that we're not just sitting around waiting until the 26th of October. We're being proactive to do whatever we can to get these people to have at least a taste or a glimpse of what it's like in this property. And not only that, they're getting to do it from the vendor's eyes as well. So obviously you're not going to be able to have the feel of the property as you would when you walk in, but it's the closest thing that you're going to get. So we're giving that on offer. And the engagement that we had across all properties was fantastic. We had people commenting, like, what size is the bed in the main bedroom? Is it king or queen? What's the measurements of the height in the property? You know, people asking, you know, can we go upstairs first? We want to have a look upstairs instead of downstairs. And yeah, it was great engagement, great feedback. And just from one of the properties, we've actually got an offer on it, sight unseen, in the range. So I think it's fantastic, and it was a beautiful day to do it, as you can see right there. And our owners did a fantastic job.
And there was someone, if you can see on the screen, someone asked the question, do we have to take our shoes off? It was actually, it was great to see, because there were people engaging so heavily with, especially with this particular inspection. We did have a fair bit of engagement across all the other properties we did, but this one in particular, we had so many people engaging. And I feel like as soon as I put this video on, our number of people that are tuning in live to watch us has just really spiked up. So, so thanks, guys, for watching. But I know that there was people saying, guys, can we have a look at the backyard, or can you give us a good look at what does it look like from the kitchen window? Give us a view of the outside of the property. And there were people asking. I know there was someone asked, there you go, body corporate fees. We also showed them the Section 32, but also someone asked, you know, can we have a good look inside the pantry? So the vendors were absolutely, you know, unbelievable. They opened up the pantry door and gave them a quick peek around the home and around the pantry space and things like that. And then we also had someone asking, what's the owner's favorite thing about living at this property? So She was absolutely gracious. There you go. That's the part when we opened up the Section 32 and we're explaining to them, where the titles are and where the easements are and all the rest of it. It was quite a great tour. And someone asked the owners, what's your favorite thing about living in this property? And the owner was absolutely, brilliant, because she jumped on and she was explaining all the things that they love about, living in that particular property. And it's such a different experience for a buyer, because when you go into an open for inspection, you don't ever get to meet the seller. You don't get to speak to the seller. So being able to have that conversation, to me, is an absolute game changer. So absolutely incredible.
Because really, we are the seller's representative, aren't we? So whatever questions the buyers want to know, we'll ask the seller and feed that back. But in this case, they're getting it directly from the seller. We're not, taking part in that. They're not our words; they're the seller's words. So yeah, it's a different sort of vibe again, but it's just so real.
100%, extremely real. And the one after that we had, so that was the one where we've already had an offer on the property, sight unseen. Someone's come forward, they want to buy the property, and we're currently negotiating. So we're hopeful that the terms and everything match, and we can get something done over there. And Damien's asked a question here. Thank you, Damien, for throwing that question in. Will you be doing virtual auctions during the extended lockdown? Well, possibly, Damo. At this point, we're not sure, because if we start getting some healthy registrations coming through off the back of these virtual inspections, then I absolutely don't see why it's something we can't do. I think we'd be 100% keen to do that. What do you think, ladies?
Well, yeah, I was thinking, we've done a one-off for these properties. Now, I did my first one for 6 Sunray Avenue. I did that the weekend before. And so we've put a call out to the owners again to see if they're ready to jump on board to do a second one. So why not? Why not take advantage? We're still in lockdown, just like we'd have the home open for inspection every Saturday. Why not do a virtual inspection every Saturday? As long as the owners or someone is available to open that door and to take that phone on a tour, why not do that? 100%. And off the back of that, yes, it creates more attention. It creates more opportunities for the owner, more eyeballs on the property. New buyers come into the market each and every day. So it doesn't mean because we've done it once, we've captured the market not by a long shot. So why not repeat them each and every week? And who knows, off the back of that, you might start getting registrations. You didn't expect the offer to come in, but yet it came in. So
yeah, definitely.
It could be around the corner for us.
100%. And what we see on the screen right now is the inspection for Pine Jarrah.
Yeah. So we did that last weekend.
And I just noticed there was over 30 views on that one. Obviously not during the live stream, because there was, I think, 7 people, as you can see on the screen, that tuned in live at that point in time. But there was, about 30 people that have already watched that video in the last 5 days. So talk to us about that. Who was watching? Who was the demographic? And what sort of interest have you had off the back of that?
Yeah, so this is a beautiful property. You'll see a little bit more once we go inside. But this is a very, very unique property. It's a higher end property for Cheltenham. So you've got Cheltenham as a whole, and this would be the top end. So circa 1.4, 1.5 for this property. Beautiful beachside Cheltenham in a premier pocket in Cheltenham. And the exclusive thing about this property is that it backs onto the golf course. Not only that, it's got views of the golf course and views of a lake. So a lot of people wouldn't expect for Cheltenham to have lake or water views, but yet Cheltenham does. So we had good attendance. I think at our peak, we had about 16 people viewing this property. It wouldn't, I guess, different to your Blackwood one. It's a different price point. But yet there was good engagement on this one. Lots of comments about the outlook and maybe not that wall, but certainly what's around the corner.
I think, and that's the shot. That's the shot where we're showcasing the outdoor space. There you go.
Yeah, and here we go. Look, I mean, when I first saw a water view in a Cheltenham property, I thought, what? Where are we? Patterson Lakes? And it doesn't look right. But yet, it is something very, very special and unique. So we had some good engagement. I realised also that there was a viewer that tuned in who did see it prior to the lockdown. So when we had that small window of open for inspections, he tuned in once again. He's got some interest in the property, so we're in discussions with him right now. Ideally, he'd like to come back and have another look outside of lockdown, just to cement in their mind that, this is the property for them or not. But again, an opportunity that was there available for us. We took it and we ran with it. And again, just creating some energy around the current listings. Why leave them on realestate.com? Why leave them in that two-dimensional format? Create another layer and create another aspect for people to look at them.
Yeah, 100%. Couldn't agree more. And then we had a few others. We had Remington Street. That had, I think, 2 or 3 people tuned in. Is that right, Nikita? And that was a great success because we've had people wanting to view the property off the back of that. And then we had, what else did we do? I think we had
Acacia.
And we had Acacia, and that was definitely my highlight. That was one of the best lives we have done so far from completely from an engagement standpoint. I'll see if I can pull that up, but that was unbelievable. Do you want to talk us through that one?
So we had a few people tuned in on that one. Mainly, the reason why we did that one was mainly because we've actually had requests from buyers asking, can we do a virtual viewing for this one? There was quite high demand for that. So obviously we accommodated it. And some of the comments and questions that we had were just really engaging. So, you know, I had some people asking about what brand the soap was and sort of made some laughs between the buyer and the vendor, which is generally, we can't really do that because, you know, the buyer and the vendor don't have a connection until after the property sells, if the agent obviously makes the effort to do so. So in the end, you know, the buyer was, you know, thanking the owner, calling him by his first name. And
it was unbelievable. Yeah, we're walking through the property and that one of the buyers was asking them, you know, show us the garage, show us the pantry, what's this, what's the brand of the soap, give us a look into the backyard. There you go. There's some questions on the screen that were coming through during that inspection. Pantry size. So as you can see here, what the owner did is he walked up to the pantry, opened the pantry right up, and that is an absolutely neat looking pantry as well. Mm-hmm. And then after that, someone else commented saying, show us your Vegemite.
It made it a really comfortable experience when they walk inside.
Absolutely incredible. And it was a beautiful sunny day, lots of natural light coming through. It's an absolutely stunning property. So it was just great, you know. Oh, there you go. That's the comment right there. Show us your Vegemite. So yeah, that was a great success, and it's something, you know, we're keen on to continue doing. We've got a couple of them we've already booked for next week, for this weekend. Sorry, we did one yesterday for a property in Black Rock. We've already got Tiffany Avenue happening next week, number 4 Tiffany Avenue, and we've had 7 or 8 parties register already that want to view that inspection. So we're super excited for that particular one. We think that's got huge potential for being a property that will potentially get sold. Sight unseen as well. It's an absolutely glamorous property. So we're really excited for that. But I guess the next question for me is what's the next step for you, Angela, this week? What are you focusing on for the next 7 days?
Yeah, next 7 days, I'm continuously in discussions with clients that I've been speaking to over the last 4 to 8 weeks. And so these were people that were ready to come on the market post the previous lockdown. You know, that they've bought properties or that they want to sell their property first. So I'm just in discussions with them just to give them more of an insight into, you know, what is that next step for us. So these are very serious sellers. They want to sell their property. They'd like to do it this side of Christmas, but just giving them an understanding that it is possible, you know, even in that worst case scenario that we are still in lockdown up until the end of October, it does give us that 4 to 6 weeks just prior to Christmas. And that's more than enough time to get the home ready, which I would imagine they're doing right now, and then putting a marketing plan in place and having whether it's an online auction or a street auction, plenty of time to get that done. So they're the discussions that we're having and trying to, you know, nut out some dates, and whether it is to put in an auction date post October, and then if things do turn out for the positive and we have to bring it forward because we've come out a little bit earlier, well, that's a great thing. But just giving them that reassurance that we are expecting a number of buyers to come into the market. I mean, these virtual inspections are telling us something. The demand is there. So giving them that confidence that it is still possible. Buyers are there. We believe there's going to be an influx of them. Don't believe that there's going to be a lot of properties to hit the market. Not your typical spring summer that we've been accustomed to. So in that case, when that supply might be lower and the buyers are there and they're demanding properties, they're the best conditions for the owners to consider.
100%. 100%. There's definitely a scarcity, and we're already seeing that in the buyer behavior. And if you're a buyer out there right now, I'm certain you can't help but think there's not much new that's come on the market, which means this is how the market's going to be for quite some time. If I'm in a position to buy, there's no reason for me to wait, because otherwise I'll be waiting a very long time, and they're very keen to jump on a property and make a decision. And there is definitely this sense of urgency, which is what I'm loving right now in the current climate. What's the plan for the next 7 days for you, Nikita?
Just really focusing on driving buyers from different properties to, other properties if they're not interested in them, and just, driving private inspections as much as possible. So yeah,
100%.
At the 100%. Moment, we've got a system in place where, anyone that we come into contact with that might be somewhat interested in, a 3-bedroom family home, we're putting their details down for the properties that we have at the moment, and any new listings that we have from now until obviously we come out of lockdown. At least we have something to work off. We have that spreadsheet that we can go back to and, call those people and see if they're interested in any of our other stock.
100%. And for buyers that are watching this or will watch this at some point, and this is a great opportunity to reach out to us and ask us about our off-market listings. We've got a whole heap of properties that are going to go to market after this lockdown's over. So we'll start registering these buyers so we can show you through these properties as soon as the lockdown's over. I've got some numbers in front of me. Mia was kind enough and she's messaged. So we had 15 people tuned into 15 views on YouTube for 19B Acacia. Remington had 9. Delville, we had a total of 16. I think there was 8 or 9 that tuned in to watch that one. And Blackwood by far was the highest one. I think we had 18 people that tuned in live to watch on the day. So, and Pine Gira has had 13. So some really powerful numbers there, which just gives me that so much more confidence that even in the next coming weeks or so, all the innovation, all the work we're doing, there's definitely some real value in that. But my highlight for this week would have to be ordering a meal from a restaurant in South Bank called Asado. It just arrived today. So there's a website called Providor, and on that website there's a whole heap of different restaurants, but there's also another one. There's an app called Mr. Yum. Off those apps, you can actually order food to be delivered to your house from all these beautiful restaurants in the city that we can no longer visit. And they deliver the food. It's pre-cooked. It's a little bit pre-cooked. And they give you an instruction sheet. So you put it in the oven for, whatever temperature it may be for a certain amount of time. And they also send you a bottle of wine. And on their website, there is a playlist for what they play when you go to the restaurant to have dinner. So you can have the Spotify playlist in the background. You can have, the bottle of wine and everything they send you and all the ingredients, the partially cooked ingredients, and put on a show at home in the comfort of your own home. And when that arrived, I just couldn't help but think, wow, this is the new normal, because as we move forward, even when the lockdown opens, as keen as I am to go and try out some of these restaurants, we're going to be so busy because of how long we haven't been able to do what we do. We're going to be extremely busy when the market reopens, which means, it's going to be crazy times. We're not going to have all that time at our fingertips, and what a great alternative, right?
Clever idea.
Exactly. So
recreate the restaurant environment.
Absolutely. So highly recommend that. And we've had Stephanie pop a question in as well. I've already signed up to the emails that include off-market homes coming up, but do we need to make contact with the agent? My best tip, Stephanie, is do reach out to one of us, myself, Nikita, or Angela. In the emails we send you, there are a lot of the properties that are listed as off-market, but unfortunately, a lot of the new homes that have just come on the market, we haven't been able to send you emails about that because we haven't been able to do photos for these properties, because if we can't do photos, it's very hard to put them on the email list to send them across to you. So definitely, give Nikita a call, myself a call, Angela a call, or shoot us an email with your criteria and requirements, and we'll start giving you, some addresses. So if you live in the area and if you're within the 5K radius, you can go and, do a walk and stuff. And we've actually got some raw photos of some of these properties. In fact, this morning, one of our vendors shot a photo of a property that's going to go to market soon. And I was absolutely blown away by how good a job she did. My comment was, you need to become a photographer. Right? That's definitely an alternate career for her. And I'll see if I can show it to you guys. I don't know if you guys can see this. There you go.
Wow.
This is shot from
Jeez.
her mobile phone. And she's not a photographer. She definitely does not do this for a living. It's a stunning property, 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, completely renovated. As you can see in the image, the fencing, the concreting, the outside render, the roof, every single window that you can see, aside from the one over here on the right-hand side, every single thing's been replaced, like the gravel. There's nothing that hasn't been touched on this property. So these are the sort of properties, you know, that are that are starting to pop up. And you know, we can certainly send you some information on these sort of homes. So Josh Bartlett just sent me a message saying you are so cute. I nearly showcased that because I had my screen sharing on to all the public on Facebook. So thanks, JB. Lucky you didn't say anything that was that was adult rated. Guys, we're going to start wrapping up here. Thank you so much, Stephanie. I hope you got the answer to your question. Anything else you'd like to tell our viewers today before we wrap up? Nikita?
Sorry, you cut out there for a second.
Sorry, I was just saying, before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to share with our viewers today?
Look, if you're looking for a property off market, just get in contact, because a lot of the times, even if the vendor hasn't put their property on the market, or if they're just thinking about it, we're in contact with these owners. So, you know, for the right price, they might just sell. So get in contact with us.
100%. We've got, when I last checked, we have 39 properties currently listed with us for sale. So there's a very high chance we've got literally anything and everything that you're looking for, and we've got more homes coming up with us as we speak. So absolutely, there's no reason for you to hesitate, and we've got plenty of time to be hassled, guys. So give us a call.
Absolutely. And one last thing as well, just for any other buyers that are out there looking, use this time now to get yourself in a position so that you are ready to buy once lockdown is over. So whether or not that's contacting your broker, contacting your bank, get everything in order. And yeah, so you're in a position to go and be the first in.
100%. And Angela, anything from you for the people that are watching us right now?
I guess just off the back of what Nikita said from the property related side, use this time as wisely as you can, make the most of it, do your research, call us. We're happy to have a chat about, you know, pricing and what we envisage, and to give you an understanding of what we have got coming up and our expected ranges and things like that. And also on the other side, if you are a seller, do reach out so we can have that discussion and put some sort of plan in place for you. You know, I think we have another saying in the office: the early bird gets the worm, but the early buyer gets the home.
Gets the home.
So
I love it.
Don't delay. And just from just outside of real estate, try to stay on top of it all. We're all going through exactly the same struggles, and by no means, you know, when we ask for your comments and things like that, we're certainly not counselors or anything like that. We're experiencing what everyone else is experiencing. But what has helped me is just being grateful for what we have. We've got a lot more than what many other people have, you know, the roof over our heads, the meals in our beds. So be grateful for those things. And this too shall pass. Just hang in there, talk to your friends and family. Everyone's around for support.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And for the big game tonight, Geelong versus Richmond, I'm really excited. Go the mighty Cats. I hope the Cats win. And for those of you watching that are Richmond supporters, I'm really sorry in advance, because we are going to smash you. And on that note, let's wrap up today, and we'll see you in a week's time. And in the meantime, you know, for those of you that tuned in to watch us today, thank you so much, and thank you for your ongoing comments and support. You know, feel free to write down any other topics you want us to make videos about. We are going to have some more people involved, like mortgage brokers, for example, you know, lawyers, accountants, people that will really add some value to your real estate dreams and what you're trying to achieve. And in the meantime, guys, stay safe, take care, and stay happy and healthy. Thank you.
Bye.